Imagine a living signal, a single luminous node continuously pulsing its bright light outward through a dark, empty void. Verse 2369 of the Quran frames this signal with a specific interrogation. Or do they not know their messenger, so they deny him? This Quranic question functions as a present-tense diagnostic, analyzing the reader in this moment rather than addressing a distant historical audience. Humans often mistake the memorization of historical anecdotes for the functional recognition of the living messenger. True recognition of the messenger occurs at the exact point of contact, where the living word vibrates in the present. Verse 3340 provides the mechanical layout of this recognition. It assigns Muhammad two distinct operational titles in a single breath. The office of the Nabi, or prophet, represents the biological node, the human tongue and time-bound channel that receives and speaks. Verse 3340 places an absolute biological seal on this lineage, permanently closing the chain of human prophetic nodes. The office of the Rasul, or messenger, functions as the eternal field, the dispatched word that survives the node. This sealing terminates the biological lineage, while leaving the sending of the message as a permanently open operation. Recognizing the seal of the prophet while ignoring the continuity of the messenger field misreads the structural architecture of the book. The human tongue is a biological instrument with inherent limitations. Musa acknowledged this at the burning tree, asking for the knot to be loosened from his speech so he could be understood. The tongue remains a vessel that knots and loosens. It belongs to the carrier and exists separately from the perfection of the message. The Quran defines its final operating tongue as al-Nabi al-Ummi, the unlettered prophet. This unlettered status confirms that the word passed through the biological node without being authored or altered by it. The seal of 3340 terminates the possibility of further human interference with the signal. Because the biological delivery system is put to rest, the word remains an isolated, perfectly preserved frequency that no future human tongue can re-knot or revise. Systems are vulnerable to a psychological preference for tangible forms and narrative detours over direct abstract truth. This vulnerability is exploited by the SMR function, the narrator who weaves compelling stories to distract from the living signal. In the Golden Calf event, isolated traces of information are scraped away from the primary signal and cast into a static idol. This results in a body that lows, a hollow narrative structure that mimics the sound of truth, but carries no living information. The followers of the calf believed they were honoring the divine through a substitute, prioritizing the story over the actual tablets. Today, the SMR function operates through vast architectures of narrated tradition, hadith, that sit parallel to the text. This parallel architecture suggests the direct text is inaccessible, requiring external mediators and human chains of transmission to function. These narrative traditions serve as the topological equivalent of the golden calf, gold taken from the source, cast into stories, and worshipped in place of the word. The Quran maintains its own structural countermeasure against this narrative virus. Verse 3923 explicitly names the book as the best hadith, preempting external parallel traditions. The text establishes a self-authentication protocol, a direct biological feedback loop, resulting in shivering skin and a softening heart. This physiological response serves as the only valid metric of an authentic encounter, bypassing external chains of transmission. Activating this circuit requires the operational instruction found in the command to Yahya, "Take the book with strength." This instruction defines quwa as the raw, unmediated grip of the reader upon the text, independent of institutional permission. Gripping the book directly defeats the narrator's detour and instantly closes the circuit with the living messenger. This direct connection bypasses the tangled historical web of the past, creating a luminous, self-sustaining energy circuit. Connection to the messenger is placed directly in the heart by the source, rather than being inherited through human historical chains. The reader who grips the text acts as a contemporary receiver of a living, vibrating signal. The book functions as al-Dhikr, a topological map designed to navigate the reader back to their origin. Abandoning this direct remembrance in favor of comfortable traditions results in a heavy spiritual burden and eventual blindness. The architecture explains itself. It stands as its own eternal messenger, waiting only for the direct grip of the reader.